Hi everyone, welcome to this new episode with Diana Manko. She's Managing Director of Baltic Automotive Components Cluster, and she's joining us to share some experience about how to manage a cluster. Diana, how are you doing? And welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for inviting me. And yes, hello everyone. And I'm doing great.
New challenges. Those days, we have very big news in the automotive sector in particular, but because we both share this amazing sector and challenging sector, but however, for the clusters, we always have challenges adapting to the markets, right, and adapting to the economy. And Europe lately, I would say it's not been the most suitable place for industry growing. Um, uh, if you know what I mean, because if we compare what's happening worldwide with what's happening here in Europe, I think our companies, especially the SMEs, they are facing huge challenges those days. And for us as a cluster is also a big challenge to try to navigate with them, try to help them. And how are you living that? How are you managing that in your cluster, Diana?
Well, yes. I think for the most part, my members are not experiencing so far that many problems. But I think the domino effect is still kind of away from us. That's what I'm thinking from what I know what's going on in the world because we don't have in the Baltics we basically don't have any OEMs. So we are tier one, tier two, tier three companies, and these still are doing pretty well. Like we keep constant contact with, for instance, Forvia Hella. They're doing great. They have
Mm-hmm.
some. I know they have some maybe some mm, they have to save. They have to save. For that I know from their headquarters. They have all the directions to save money, but they're still doing pretty great. Of course, the smallest companies are experiencing all these ups and downs already, like the metal part coaters. But they are, I think they are at the front lines. They're kind of experiencing very, very slight changes in the market because we're surrounded by so many countries. Depending on where the requests come from, they're telling me they're kind of measuring the temperature. Okay, something's going on in Poland. We've never
Yeah.
gotten any requests from them, and lately we have been getting quite a few. So that tells me that okay, we need to talk to the Polish people or Polish clusters and see, okay, what's going on. I haven't done that yet, but I will. But this is how it's all happening. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
for our companies to understand what's going on in the bigger picture, I'm trying to keep up with the international associations. I'm sorry about
Mm-hmm.
the background noise. I have construction
Yeah,
outside.
no problem, no problem.
Yeah, so I'm trying to keep up with EACN, which we are both members of.
Yeah.
Us being also a national association and a cluster, we're also taking part in CLEPA, which is CLEPA is
Mm,
a Brussels Association of Associations of Suppliers,
mm,
so the OEMs. So I'm trying to pass on all of this information that they gather, and of course, without bombarding them every second day, I'm trying to capture the gist of it and tell them what's going on so that they experience the market from the inside. What
mm,
I'm
mm,
looking at is from the outside, and I'm trying to convey that to them so that they know what's going on, globally.
mm, mm.
So this is how we're
I
doing.
think you just step on very key aspect that I couldn't agree more with you, Diana, and which is try to work in a yeah together with other clusters, with other associations. I think that's one of the key. You mentioned that you are trying to be as much in touch as possible with EACN, which is a meta cluster. For those who doesn't know it, we are right now 30 plus members all around Europe, all related to the automotive industry. So we are all members are clusters, regional or national clusters. But I think that's one of the keys to navigate the waters that we are having nowadays. And for instance, in our case, apart from EACN, which is a European meta cluster, we also are part and founding members as well of two others, one national, where we are eight clusters, automotive industry clusters, national level in Spain, but also two, that's been happening for the last 5 years, six, I think. And another one which is Catalan level, but we are not on the same sector. We are the automotive industry, but 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, we create another meta cluster where we are all the mobility related clusters, right? So there's the automotive industry, which are ourselves, but also there's a motorcycle, there's a train, there's also energy efficiency, there's materials, there's also city halls as well, which is it's not a cluster but an association with they are plus than 200 city halls link associated to that entity. And there's also our administration, our regional administration as well on that method cluster. So it's 11 entities after all. And I couldn't agree more with you, Diana, that trying to work together among similar entities towards the same goal, I think that's the key, because those are challenging times, right? And many things are happening, and they are happening fast. I would say faster and faster. And trying to share vision and trying to share actual activities, actual actions, battling the redundance. That's the key to success, because sometimes your lack of vision. So talking to other people with a similar goal, similar challenges, help me to have better vision. But at the same time, we need concrete actions for our members, right? And if we can share best, like best experience, best cases, that's one of the keys. That's one of the keys. Yeah, 100% agree with what you mentioned, Diana. Apart from EACN, are you a member from any other meta cluster?
Meta clusters not. So I'm really interested in what you were saying. Is that a cluster of clusters
It's a
within
cluster of clusters,
Spain?
right? Yeah,
Within
that's
Spain,
it.
the one that you described?
One of them, it's a Spain level, right, where we are the eight regional clusters related to the automotive industry. Because you mentioned that your cluster is national level. In our case, it's regional. Our region is Catalonia, so we team up with another 7 regions to create this meta cluster. So we do not lose our identity as a sector and as a geographically restricted area, but at the same time we have a lot of common goals to work together. For instance, and that's the second thing I would like to ask you, that when we go to talk to the national administration, we all go always together, the 8 of us, and that's also a very important thing for us. Yeah, so that's how we do it. But the other meta cluster that we just created a couple of years ago, that's regional level, but that's not only in the automotive industry, but we integrated other sectors related to the mobility, since the mobility concept has been grown in the last years. Yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah, we are just one correction. We are a national association, but as it comes to the cluster, we're kind of the regional, because we're
oh,
Baltics. We have
that's very
several
interesting.
we have several
Can
members
you
from
develop that a little bit more?
Yeah, we have several members from Latvia so far. We're also looking into Estonia. Not as fast as we would like to cover those regions, but we need more resources, of course, for that. But the idea is to capture all the Baltics and have the information from the Baltics and deliver it to the Western European, associations to bring this information to the West, because
Mm.
as far as I know, far as I've heard from the industry people or from the economic level governmental people, uh, the knowledge about automotive within Europe uh, ends with Poland, and we're a bit farther. so so there's action also going on there as well. That Brussels, for instance, would really, you know could take advantage of by knowing what's going on there. And we did actually, once we joined CLEPA at the beginning of the year, we did have their Secretary General come to one of our events. And we also had some governmental level visits from him to the Ministry of Transportation and Communications, as well as the Ministry of Economy and Innovation. So when you say that whenever you go to your government, you like the seven of your cluster joins together and goes there. We are fairly small country compared to Spain, so everything is very fast in Lithuania. For instance, if we need a minister visit, we can do it in like 2 weeks or so. And I'm not lying. CLEPA Secretary General could confirm that, because he experienced it himself. So whenever there's governmental level support needed, like if we go to any kind of projects where there's letters of support are needed, like last year, we were trying to apply for the I3 instrument with several cross clusters for the mobility topic. And we did need indeed a letter of support from one of the ministries. We got from both of them, the ones that I mentioned, because we're in very good relationships with them. And we try to create the economy that goes with politics and politics that goes with economy. So we're kind of working hand in hand here. So this is our distinction from the other regions that are a bit bigger than us.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, welcome back.
Okay, okay. Sorry. Okay, no, no problem. Later we will just rejoin the link.
Okay.
Okay, okay. So no, I was just asking about that. Yeah, about if you could develop a little bit more about the national and regional aspect. Sorry for that.
Okay. I'm not sure if you've heard or not. I've kind of described everything. Did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard part of it. Yeah, I heard part of it. Yeah,
Okay, should I repeat it?
just if you want the last part.
Okay. As I said, we're as an association, a national association that goes to CLEPA, that belongs to CLEPA, and we are also in the board of CLEPA as a national association. We are national.
Mm.
But as it comes to the clusters, we kind of cover the entire Baltic states, at
And
least
how do you
besides.
manage the day-to-day activities between one because is it the regional association which is growing to national, or are they two different entities, the national and the regional?
No, it's the one entity that's growing from the national to the regional. Uh, at least this is the direction that we're going to. Of course,
Okay.
a bit more time is needed, a bit more resources maybe. So so that we cover it exactly the way we do it in Lithuania, but we're working on that. For now, we are doing all the activities that we're doing. We try to do online. Every once in a while, we do it in person, and we invite our members from Latvia. But since, the Baltics are small countries, traveling is same distances as Spain, for instance. So
Hmm.
it's
Okay, okay. So
not
it's Baltic, and now it's going to regional. I understand. I understand that. Hmm. That's very
Baltic meaning
interesting.
the three, yeah, Baltic meaning the three countries,
I know. I know.
Lithuania,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Latvia,
yeah.
Estonia. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And that and from this you're trying to grow the national level, right?
We are national already as a
Mm,
Lithuanian association and a
mm-hmm,
cluster,
mm-hmm.
but we are growing into a bigger entity.
And how do you manage that in your as I mean I'm going to the cluster level. Do you have the same staff doing different activities, or do you have different staff for different activities related to the Baltic or national?
It's the same. It's all the same. We treat them the same. Whenever they would like to join, they are always invited. We try to do some webinars that would also be beneficial to them. We, of course, share the information that is also interesting, should be interesting to them as well, because it's global. Basically, that's what we are doing so far. But of course, if we would like to go a bit deeper with the services provided to the different countries,
Mm-hmm.
we would of course need a bit more staff and a bit more focus, a bit more attention to their governments. And we're not at that stage so far, but hopefully in future we will do that.
Hmm, hmm. And does it mean that I mean you are a Lithuanian cluster, however you're representing the Baltic region. Does it mean in the other two countries, Estonia and Latvia, they are growing their own cluster, or that's not
No, no,
happening?
no. They don't. They don't have to my knowledge, to this day, they don't have an automotive cluster or
Hmm.
automotive association of any kind.
Okay.
Uh, there's similar entities, but they do not have anything like us. And we're here for almost uh, 12 years, unofficially for 13 or so.
Yeah.
So we can share our experiences, our knowledge in that, and we are we are
That's very interesting.
welcoming, yeah, we're welcoming all the members that would like to join us.
How many members do you have from your region for Lithuania, and how many members are in total in your cluster as a Baltic
Basically,
region?
as I said, we just decided to go Baltic last year.
Oh,
And
so that's quite
yeah, 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 yeah.
recent.
That is
Okay,
very recent.
okay.
And
Mm,
we, of course, if we talk about numbers, then we're very small compared to any kind of other Western European countries. Overall, at the moment, I think we have closer to 30 companies.
okay.
About probably 10% or so are Latvian. Estonians, we don't have any yet.
Mm-hmm.
We're in talks, but as I said, it's just an emerging thing, emerging trend that we're trying to do, and we need some help spreading out the word about us, and this might also be a good way of doing that,
Mm-hmm.
so that they hear more about us and the activities that we do, and that could be beneficial to them.
Mm-hmm. If you ask me, I would say that's the way to go, Diana. 100%. I think you're on the right path. And let me ask you, because I'm very curious, why did you took that decision to go from national Lithuanian to decide to go for companies from the other two countries? How do you took that decision, and what motivates you?
It comes from the board, from our board decision, and it comes from the members. You know, when you are kind of fairly small compared to the other countries in Europe
Mm,
and globally, uh, w- how do you present yourself when you're in international level, right?
Yeah.
Uh, to some people in distant continents, you have to describe what is Europe, where within Europe you are.
Mm,
Like you tend to present it like from far away to narrow down, so that it's easier to do and so that we are more visible. We need to, I think, not I think, but the members of ours think that we need to be together, present there, so that we are more visible compared to the other countries.
mm,
So
mm,
this is, I think, the only way of doing. And of course, in Europe, we also need that right now very much. We need to be very united,
mm,
and we need quick solutions. And I think these organizations like EACN or CLEPA or any other kind could facilitate that, because, to my understanding, uh, we are at a difficult position right now globally with the
mm.
with the threats of China and the US fighting for
Yeah.
their own, place under the sun. I think what we need right now is Europe being a huge market, consumer market, and also producing market. We need to react fast. And the instruments that we had before, the instruments that we do have at the moment, like all the projects where the money is spread for innovation and all, to my understanding, they're too slow, because at this moment we are already losing our competitive edge.
Mm,
I don't want to say we lost it already because it's too sad, but I think if we could unite and act fast, we can save ourselves. Otherwise, we might be in a difficult position.
yes, we will. Yes, we will. I think Europe has taken, yeah, quite risky decisions in the last few years, especially in our sector. But I would say industry related in general. And right now we are facing the consequences of those decisions. I'm not going to say the decisions were wrong. I think the intention was right, but they pushed, I would say, too much. They push it too much and do not give enough support to the industry to adapt to that push. Um, I think trying to go greener and more sustainable, I think that's the right way. Absolutely. But if you are pushing and you are trying to accelerate the transition, you need to provide enough resources to make that happen, right? And I think that's where the European Commission failed. I think they pushed the agenda, they pushed the regulations, which is not right or wrong. I think that's a way to go. But at the same time, they fail on pushing the support to the industry to be able to accomplish those goals. And I think we are paying the consequences of that. For us as a cluster, we're trying to understand in the next 2 3 years what's going to happen and how can we support our companies, our industries, especially the SMEs.
Yeah. If you think in analogy of the carrot and the stick, I think we've had too much of the stick, and and the carrot is kind of disappearing somewhere.
I think so. I think so. I think so. Yeah, that's a challenging times. Yeah. For us as a cluster, we just finished last year our new strategy plan. It's been a very collaborative process. It took us almost 10 months to do it. 7-8 months of workshops and dynamics, trying to understand what's happening in our companies. We are a plus 150 companies cluster, so it where we are. I'm not gonna say big, but big enough to cause some troubles when we try to talk to all of them and try to understand what's happening to the most of them. And at the same time, we try to be as concrete as possible on what, how, and when to implement actions for that. And we were able to just prepare a strategy plan for the next 3 years. We do not see ourselves with enough vision to go 5, 8, or 10 years ahead. Just 3 years. So this year we decide to just create a 3-year strategy plan and try to work with that, because many things are happening. There are many moving objects on this equation, and the SMEs especially, but also the big corporations are suffering big transformations. And I'm talking, of course, from the automotive point of view. Can't do it any other way. But I would say industry generally related. I think the next 2-3 years we're gonna see big changes here in Europe. Huge entrance from the Chinese companies, and at the same time, big restructures in the big companies, and also partnerships or foreclosures, or joint ventures among the small companies. I think many things will happen in the next couple of years. Diane, I don't know if you share that vision.
Yes, yes, I gather that as well. Like we were present in ICB exhibition last year in October, where the Volkswagen factory is one of the main ones, and what we saw there was that Volkswagen was at that time in a bit of confusion, and not many people from them, like not many representatives of Volkswagen were even present at the exhibition, even though
Hmm.
the exhibition is for them. All the tier one companies and the other suppliers, smaller suppliers and bigger, gather there for them to present their services, but they were almost not there. So that tells you a lot about that. And we spoke to one of the people, people of one of the tier one companies, and what he said was that they're redirecting their strategies and this and that. But we had a very honest, very long conversation, very comprehensive. But when we asked them what their strategy was going to be, they said that they were going to be faster from now on.
Hmm.
But when I asked them, how are you guys going to be faster if the average number of hours worked in Germany is what, 20 something per week? And the average in Asia is, I don't know, 60 maybe. you you can try to be fast, but either you have to have extremely good technologies, or you have to start working more and faster. Really, you have to employ other kind of strategies, not the ones that we had previously. And I think for the most part, Europeans have adjusted themselves to living quite well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
this is the problem. Our workforce is not agile. It's not ready to accept the changes that are needed right now.
Hmm. Hmm.
And this is a big challenge because, it's quite difficult to keep the task to the workforce. I understand there's a lot of cutoffs in Germany and other countries, but
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
but on the other side, where everything is still going well on the supplier side, it's very difficult with the workforce to keep them motivated. You know, uh, the employers have to think of all sorts of things. Employer starting from the employer branding, how they position themselves, what they offer to their workers, and they choose where to go, they choose how much they want to work, and this and that. But at
Yeah.
this moment, what what we need right now is to just you know join heads, shoulders, and say, okay guys, we need to do something about it, and we need to do it fast. Are you ready? Let's do it. Do we want to save European automotive, or do we want to be a nice museum of European
Yeah.
European cars? The way
Like
we
a
used
thematic
used
park.
to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Yeah,
way we used to
the
make
old
them.
world thematic park. Yeah, absolutely agree with that. I think related with that, that's a big challenge because companies and our clusters especially, um, we need to be talking about human resources, talking about people on the companies, on the clusters especially. We need to be very flexible on terms on what are we doing today and what are we going to do tomorrow. The typical narrative that, oh, that's my job description and I should not move from that, that's a very old concept. And nowadays all companies, but especially I think organizations like yours and mine, we need to be very adaptive and we need to be very quick responsive to just to, if we can, try to anticipate what's going to happen, but at least be very responsive to what's happening right now and say, okay, my plan for today is that, but that's happening, so I need to prioritize, and I'm stop doing that. I'm gonna do this other thing instead. I think that's essential for any organization like ours to survive, and to survive with, I would say, quality level to move.
Yeah, but we are just, the companies, not the companies, the organizations that are kind of servicing them and trying to direct them to bring the knowledge, all kinds of services that they need. But what we need right now is for them to join and say, okay, we need to rescue our automotive and mobility, you name it, and let's do something quick about it. And it needs to be done at the European highest levels. And the consultations that are taking place, I know they're needed. I know this is how Europe is, what European Union is made of. But still, it's very sad to see how slow we are compared to how fast we need to react.
Hmm,
this is
hmm.
this is my feeling. This is what I'm seeing.
I think that's one of the big challenges, Diana. 100% agree because otherwise we will not be quick enough to adapt to the changes. Because few days ago, talking with a friend which is older and wiser than me, he was telling to me, because I was saying, oh, everything is moving so fast, everything is changing, everything, it's, we need to adapt, etc. And he told me, Joseph, right now this is the slowest is it going to be from now on. So you need to be quicker and quicker to adapt, because that's the slowest it's going to be in the next few years. So things are gonna speed up, and if we cannot keep a pace right now, in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, we are dead as an organization and as an employee. Absolutely. So we really need to keep up at least and speed up for the next few years. Otherwise, we'll not be able to adapt. And that means, of course, introduce new technologies like EA, of course, to the our clusters, but also partnerships, as you mentioned at the very beginning, and work with the administration as well. I think we need to close to get closer and closer relationships among us and be able to work together in a better ways that we did in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, and involve our members because in the hard times, everybody tries to survive themselves. They try to separate and maybe try to survive. But what we need right now is to maybe combine the effort and see, okay, what can we do together to make it better? This is what we actually need in Europe.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me ask you, and if you want, we can finish with that. What is your relationship with your administration? Because that's something that it's very different, one country from another one cluster to another one. How is the relationship with the administration in your case? Is your cluster part of the administration? Is it founded for the administration? How does it work, that relationship?
What do you mean by the administration, the government?
Your government, yeah.
Uh, okay, we kind of work as a separate organization, but like in Lithuania, there's no governmental support directed towards the clusters or associations like that. They kind of emerge themselves from the. It comes from the like the lower levels, not the lower levels. How to say it? It comes from the business.
Okay.
So business decided to unite. All basically all associations are like that around some issue or around some initiative, and they look for ways of financing themselves, either through the projects, through, of course, the mixed way, through the memberships, through the services, and things like that. Like EACN, we had this very good talk 2 weeks ago, I think, about how everyone is doing on financing their activities. So this basically comes from the members' initiative. And unfortunately, we don't have direct governmental support, financial direct governmental support, but us being very vocal, very,
Yeah.
I don't know how to put it in words. We have worked our ways into the government so that we have a very good relationship, especially with the main two ministries that we work mostly with, Ministry of Economy and Innovation and Ministry of Transportation and Communications. So we keep up with them whenever there's new government. Like last year, most of Europeans had the change of government. We introduced ourselves at the beginning of the year to the new cabinets. So we presented what we're doing and what we would like to do. Our association is a bit different from the other associations where they try to base their work basically on the problems that the members have. We try to create a more collaborative environment with the government.
Mm-hmm.
We start some kind of initiatives and we invite them to join. Of course, we ask for some resources to make it happen, but we're focusing more on the opportunities rather than the problems. This is how we differ, and this is why we have a better relationship with government. Not the association that likes to brag a lot,
Yeah.
to make their way up through the raising the problems. We do solve the problems. We try to solve the problems of our members, but we kind of don't put it into media, and we don't. This is not the card that we play with, trying to strengthen our position in nationally or internationally.
I think that's the way to go because government at the end of the day, those are some people who stay on the position for a few years, some more, some less, and at the end of the day, they don't know everything. They have
Yeah.
to manage internal and external situations. So as much support as they can get from associations, entities like us, I think we can be a very strong partner for them. But as you say, we're not there to take advantage, because if we try to, maybe we can get something, but on the long term, I think it's not sustainable
Oh, yeah.
to work on those bases. So yeah, I think we have a very similar approach as you do. We do not work as a lobby association to claim for anything. We are very also, probably as you guys, we're very propositive. We try to propose very concrete actions and try to support the administration as much as we can. And we try to be very critic, very yeah, with a very strong opinion, but we try to keep it in a closed circle. Definitely we not put that on media. I think that's yeah, I think that's a big mistake if you try to build a long-term relationship with anyone, especially
You know,
with the administration.
there's different ways of positioning yourself as an organization. You either go this way or that way.
Mm,
However you like to be seen. This is probably comes from your mission, your values, or just, the way you try to work things out. And I think you can get much more done through positive attitude and collaborative attitude rather
mm,
than
mm.
you just going about and complaining to everybody. I think you can go much farther this way.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's the goal. That's the goal. Maybe not faster, but long term, and farther as possible. Diana, it's been a pleasure talking to you, getting to know some insights of your organizations that I didn't know before. So thank you very much for that for this time. I think we all learned few things, and the exchange was lovely. To be honest, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much for inviting me. I would love to know more about you guys as well.
Okay, so we'll keep talking, and yeah, we can get another podcast in few months, just to see how these partnerships and organizations, how is your growing on the Baltic region, and we can discuss other topics. Yeah, for today, I know you are on this on the clock, so thank you very much again for this time, and yeah, we keep up and we stay in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have
Take
a
care.
nice rest of summer.
Bye.